let's get started real quick with what I have to show you. We'll start with the PowerPoint, and then I'll go into a little bit of VS Code with the command line and with some copying, pasting, moving, source coding, getting more stuff ready for assignment 5. I have pushed assignment 5 to the due on Wednesday, so because we still have some stuff to do on it. It will not be missing today because it got pushed back to Wednesday. Anyways, our weekly theme is to complete and deploy assignment number 5, which involves adding more React components. That's what comps are short for, plus troubleshooting them when they break. And then also advancing your component pieces, updating the props, making the props more detailed, making the props have more dependencies, all different types of things that make them perform a little bit better and are a little bit more interactive. So the more stuff goes into a component, the more editable or exciting it tends to be. Okay, so that's the advanced component pieces with the additional functionalities here. Our main goal for today is to add text to our A5 page TSX. I've updated the Canvas assignment to now include a text part, so you can see how much is needed in that regard. Your outcomes are to add some additional details as to why you think your fictional villain has parts of their story in the right or is misunderstood, or your task is to take this fictional villain and provide an alternative perspective as to why maybe they were a good guy instead of strictly just a bad guy. That's the purpose of this assignment. So the first outcome is reasoning on theme with the assignment, so you're actually defending your fictional villain. You have some practice troubleshooting and adding these additional packets and resources. When I was experimenting this morning, I needed to get a different icon pack, and so I'll show you how to do that using the terminal. And CLI stands for Command Line Interface. It's when you are typing in the actual terminal. It's the matrix style code. The more you use it, the more comfortable you will get with it. Okay, so we'll have an A5 due Wednesday. We'll have A6 be a really short assignment, one day on Thursday, just a quick one. And yeah, so you know you're getting it after today, or you're getting the concept of React thus far, because you can start your server, the npm run dev command in the CLI, right at the start of class, and you can use the error or the spell check feature that I'm going to show you here in a second. And you know you're applying your skills because your React components have few, if any, errors. Even the ones that major websites use, they still have a couple errors, but they don't necessarily break the thing from running. You can use the terminal, again, CLI, to add more to your resource folder. I'm going to show you how to do that. And your text will display in interesting / more than basic ways. We're doing this because I want you guys to continue being comfortable using the terminal, especially working backwards when it comes to a lot of these React components have a lot of different pieces to them. Getting those pieces to talk to each other the right way, or getting those pieces to even function, is kind of a big task for a very simple outcome. So the more comfort you have working backwards and reverse engineering is the main goal for today, alongside the basic one of adding text to our A5. Okay, anyway, we'll figure out the exit task here shortly. Let me reload the page here. I've added underneath the PowerPoint a shortcut to all of the React components in case you wanted a quick link to see when I'm saying comp, when I'm saying component, when I'm using these vocab words, what I'm talking about. Okay, so these are all different comps, and when you click on them, they tell you how to import at the top of the page, and then what they look like when they behave. Like if we click on this button, you can't really tell anything's happening because it's just a basic button. But this is when I say a React comp. It says hero at the top, and it's got this code and all these variations on it. Okay, so there's a shortcut on there right in resources in case you ever need to access that. What we're doing today with assignment number 5, you can see I've updated the deadline or the due date and the requirements. We have some images, we just need to get them in the right spot. And now you need some text-based components. They can be any text-based component that explains your reasoning why your fictional villain is in the right. Okay, you can see I added that today. These were from 5, 12, and 13, and then we'll add just a little bit more by Wednesday to make sure that this is ready to go. Okay, so let me show you how to do that. Let me show you the troubleshooting type procedures. I will not yap the entire period. I will be in and out, so you have a chance to actually work on your assignment. I'm going to open up your P5 folder by going File, Open Folder. Gonna go to, for you, I think it's an admin. No, not an admin. Semester 2, web design. There's P5. Okay, So we've got from last week, our subfolder A5 with a page TSX inside of it. You can see I was experimenting earlier and I was unsuccessful in my experimentation. So I'm going to just delete all this for now. Get rid of that. And then we'll go up here. We don't need this construction anymore either. And we don't need this import either because we're no longer using that. Okay, hang on. So the first thing I'll show you outside of running your npm run dev, make sure you are in the command cmd launch profile by clicking on the little small triangle. This is where we'll type npm, not bomb, npm run dev to get our server going. And then we're gonna, what? It's a command prompt, it should be working. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. So we see our purple triangle, we see our 2 green check marks, and we go to follow link. I'm gonna pull this one off to the side. And we get to our discount time machine wholesale, okay? It loads by default. Let me get rid of some of these other pieces here. That was me messing around. It's gonna load whatever page is inside of the app folder. Remember, that's your home page, so that this is the page TSX that gets called first. This was the image stuff that I showed you last week with our 3 Magneto images. The first thing we need to do is move those to our assignment number 5 page so that they actually make sense, okay? So I'm gonna click on my Explorer so that's smaller. You can see my whole code here. These are components, as a reminder, and they are React components specifically because they're minty green and they have a capital letter, okay? Components need props or properties. Like for the image comp, you need an alt text prop, you need a source prop, and you need a width prop in order for it to work. And if you want to do the shortened version, you do not need to do a full /image or /comp end tag. You can just do /shift period, and it kind of combines it all into one big container. And this shows us that there's an image on lines 56 down to 60. Anyways, we're gonna highlight all 3 of these images and hold Control and press X, which is the same as copying and then deleting. Just skips a step for you. Control S to save, they're gonna go away. That's how I know my server is live, okay? I'm gonna go into my A5 folder, into my page TSX, and I'm gonna place that inside of the div, inside again of the return bucket. You know those dolls that like stack within each other? I think they're called Matryoshka dolls. That's how you pronounce it. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of web design is like that, right? Putting the pieces inside of the other pieces until they all become one very dense type of file. So we're gonna paste those in, and it's gonna turn red. This is your first chance at seeing, maybe not your first chance, but the first time that I'm gonna officially tell you what this red underline looks like, okay? It looks very similar to the one that's in Microsoft Word or in Google Docs because it's exactly, or very similar, function. It's telling us that something is unexpected or spelled incorrectly or configured incorrectly or what have you, and we should fix it, okay? The unfortunate part about the VS Code version is that it's not quite as good as spell check because spell check's just spelling words right. Web design, we have a lot more pieces to worry about, but it does give us a starting point with that reverse engineering idea, okay? So if I hover over my image or whatever my, red underline is looking like, it's telling me this JSX element class does not support attributes because it does not have a props property. That doesn't particularly help me. That sounds like a bunch of stuff I don't quite get. Let me look for something that's a little bit more helpful. That's the first step in your reverse engineering journey is what can you recognize, okay? So if I look at image, it says image cannot be used as a JSX component because it's got a whole bunch of reasons why. Sometimes there is a quick fix available. In this case, it is not, unfortunately, but it could be a little bit later. What we'll need to do in order to get our React comps working, the first step is to always check the import, right? We don't have an import image on this page, which means we'll need to add it here by going import curly braces image. And then it's going to ask, where do you want to bring in the image from? We want to bring in the hero UI one, okay? The second link right here, and that will make our page happy. And if we go to A5, our fictional villains have appeared, okay? A lot of this is recapping, but a lot of this also is just the more you practice doing this, the more it makes sense. And the more it makes sense at the early stages, the easier it is to fix the code, at the end. So as far as completing assignment number 5, you need at least 3 reasons that are in text explaining why your villain is not in the wrong, okay? Or is not exactly just a straight up bad guy, okay? So I'm going to use paragraph as a start. Example number 1, why Magneto is misunderstood. Okay, dot, dot, dot. Save, and then that's going to appear in stack order because it's after the first image. It'll appear right underneath the first image right here. What we can do with comps, the reason I've linked that Hero UI big comps page, let me close this, I don't need that. I do need, I think it's here, yeah. Is we want to start adding some interesting text-based components like a button that have a little bit more functionality, okay? So if I look at my code right here, we have this export function basic, we have a little bit of importing right here, but now we want to look for code that actually looks familiar to us, right? We see a div right here, we see a lot of buttons with variants right here. This is more the code that I'm looking for because this is a little too much JavaScript for what I'm looking at right now. Anytime that you're seeing stuff like this, especially in the console, it's only going to put stuff in the terminal. It's not going to put it on the actual page. So I'm going to scroll down just a little bit past variants, and I'm going to highlight this div with the class name and stuff and all the buttons contained within it. And I'm going to bring that over to my code. So I'm going to go here after image number 2, hit enter, control V, and it's going to get mad at me because it doesn't recognize button. All right, let's see if quick fix works this time around. If we hover over it, we do have a quick fix. You see how next to view problem, there's this quick fix button. If we do that, it's going to give us a couple options on how to unbreak our code here, okay? So we want to bring in the Hero UI button or React. React is a bigger pool, so it might slow down your call time a little bit. But we specifically want the Hero UI button because that's where we found the code, okay? So if I bring that in, it's going to add the import button up from Hero UI/button, and it's got a couple issues with the variant. I'm not sure why. We'll figure that out here in just a second. Control S, hopefully my code doesn't break, and it doesn't. So now I have, alongside the bottom here, I have all these buttons, but I don't need every single one of these buttons. So I can start deleting the ones I don't need. I'll keep primary, secondary, tertiary. Or actually, we'll keep primary, secondary, and tertiary because we need 3 text-based reasons, text-based reasons why our villain is not quite a full, just straight up evil villain, okay? Jake, do you know why they're not working? Any guesses? Okay, so let's change the word variant to color, and let's see what that does. Oh, okay, cool. Let's change it to color. Let's turn to purple. Interesting. Let's see what tertiary looks like. There is not a tertiary color. That's okay. So we're going to delete that and just add a hashtag anywhere we have extra code that's not necessary. Okay? So you're going to see that the button does have a start and an end tag, which makes it easy to look at it like a container. We can have reason number 1 be our first button. We can then change the content of this element to be reason number 2 for the button, and then where it says tertiary as content, this is the ingredients part of the advanced sandwich. You can have it be reason number 3, okay? So that's gonna update to reason number 1, 2, and 3 underneath our second picture of our villain right quick, but these buttons don't do anything, okay? These buttons currently, you can click on them, and they do the default like styling that comes with the button from React, but let's make them have a little bit of an alert like you see on the pricing page. So if you go to pricing and you look at this first tier, $29.99 a month, when you click sign up, there's a little alert that pops up right down here. Let's use that as an example. So we know the pricing page has our functional code. Let's use our functional code and work our way backwards, okay? Go to pricing page TSX and close this, and we're gonna find our toast construct right here. Okay, so when I click on pricing, you're going to be jumping back and forth a lot between input and output. When I click on pricing, it says, hey, this button does nothing, but you can make it do something. That's got to be some type of content of some element somewhere, or some comp somewhere. I'm starting to see it right here in this description and in this title section. This thing is called is it a construct or constant? Huh? It's a constant, right? Okay, so const right here is called this does nothing toast. Anytime you see a little thing pop up, it's like toast out of the toaster. So that was the official name for that is toast. So we're gonna call, let's see, how do we connect these buttons together? So let's look around a little bit here. We have the card body footer. Here we go. We have this command right here. So let's see, let's start looking at what we have that's functional. We know that this toast matches the effect that we're going for here. And then we scroll down and find the button that it's connected to, the $29.99 a month button, which is where? So here it says sign up. This is our button piece right here. All right. We see that we have to do a little bit of JavaScript here. We got to say what happens when our button gets pressed. So let's take the basic constant from, do we need the whole function or we just need this, right? Okay, so we're going to go from where the CONST starts and stops. Starts and stops stops are always denoted by this semicolon right here. Highlight all that, Control C. We'll go back to our A5, and then because this is a brain type thing, it's not going to go inside of the export. It's going to go up here with the imports, and we're going to change up what we need as necessary. Okay, so we're going to call, instead of this does nothing toast, we're going to change it to reason 1 toast, and then we'll start adding that to our button right down here. Okay, so it's mad at me for some reason. It cannot find the name add toast. Let's see what quick fix we can do. We want to add that import. And what else is it mad? Is it missing a brace? Yes, it is. Okay, we can change our title to be reason number 1, and then the description will be what actually appears inside of the little toast at the bottom here. So Magneto, it has some unhealed stuff going on and projects that outward into the world. Okay, that's my quick version of why Magneto might be a little bit misunderstood. Okay, he is still a villain. Keep in mind, the people that you're defending are still villains, but you want to give people a little bit more reasoning or context as to why they make the decisions that they make. So if we go to A5 and we click on reason number 1, nothing happens yet because all we've done is add this constant, but we haven't connected it to the button yet. Okay, let's connect it to the button with properties. So if we go into reason number 1 button and we add the phrase on click, lowercase o, capital C, this is JavaScript. We can add the name of the reason 1 toast right here into the braces right here. So it's a little bit mad at me. Let's go back to the pricing page and see what we do to make that functional. Okay, we need to add this little set of symbols right here in order to connect our toast to our on press, right? Plugging different things into different spots so that our components have a little bit more advanced functionality. What you write exactly, hey, I'll help you in a second. Okay, I'll get there, y'all. Parentheses inside of our braces, and then equals shift period to make this little arrow icon to tell our computer to look up into the brain of the stuff we just copied and pasted here. Let's go back to pricing. We need to, let's see, what did I do differently? We need to add another pair of braces. These are the yellow ones, so that we can further spell out like that. Here's our next pair of braces, and then give it the name of the constant that we just created in the top of the page. Okay, so instead of this does nothing toast, we called ours reason 1 toast. So we put that in here, spelt exactly the same way. Reason 1 toast. Okay, it's starting to notice it. It's changing to that yellow default color that we see matching right here. And then we just add a little extra set of parentheses to the end like so. Okay, so my on click is crossed out for some reason. It's deprecated. Okay, let's see if my code works. Nope, it doesn't. All right. Oh, I see. So it's telling me, based on this issue right here, I see this word client component right here. A phrase I haven't taught you yet, and then I'm going to show you for the first time today, is this use client phrase. It fixes a lot of your React problems if you add it as the first line of your code in parentheses, okay? It's all lowercase, the word use client, and then you separate it with a semicolon at the end here. Let's see if that unbreaks our code. Why has that not unbroken our code? Reason. Okay, so my constant is in the wrong spot. So I need to, instead of putting it up here in between the imports and exports, we put it before the return, right? So in this extra little space right here, so our computer understands that when we render out the page and the button asks for the specific reason 1 toast, it knows where to find it right up here. So if I save that, there we go. If I click on reason number 1, a toast is going to appear down here at the bottom. Once we've done all of those steps and made it working, we don't have to start from scratch every single time. We have 2 more buttons with 2 more reasons. Let's highlight our constant, Control C, enter Control V, change it to reason 2 toast, change it to reason 2, and then we'll do that one more time, Control V. They're kind of going in bad stack order. Hang on. I didn't go back far enough. So we'll go enter, go back 1, Control V, enter, enter, go back 1, Control V. So I want all of these to be on the same line, so it's easy to find. Okay, and then we'll go enter, delete, Control V. Okay. Control C, Control V. Don't know why it's being mean to me. Let's make these back to reasons 2 and 3. And then change it to reason number 2, reason number 3. And then we'll repeat this on-click command and change them from reason 1 to reason 2 and reason 3. So enter Control V, reason 2, and then enter Control V, reason 3, not 33, Control S to save. Now all 3 of these have toasts that say reasons 1, 2, and 3, but we haven't changed the actual description of those constants. So they're all going to say the same thing. Okay? This is one possible version. You do not have to do buttons, but this is one possible version of text-based code that you can add, or text-based comps that you can add to your page in order to, bless you, in order to defend your fictional villain. Okay? So I'm going to just add hashtags for these descriptions for reasons 2 and 3, because I haven't actually added anything for reasons 2 and 3, so that you can tell, just hashtags for placeholders, so you can tell which is which. Okay? Control S to save, boom, boom, and boom. And then we can I'll copy and paste this code into Canvas a little bit later. All of this is to show you when you add more functionality to your page, more interactivity, like on click, you got to tell the computer with something like a constant that already works from a different part of the template, change the constant to the CONST to match up with the reasons that you're trying to add. Okay? So they do not need to be this. I'm just going to delete this color right here because it's annoying me having one single missing error. To recap real quick, we added this use client, kind of like a patch that allows our computer to not be worried about why things are missing. We've imported a button and an add toast as 2 extra pieces to make our buttons functional. We've created a constant related to the different buttons that we have down below. Those buttons being reason number 1, reason number 2, and reason number 3, as you can see by the content part. And then we've repeated our constant for reasons 2 and 3, attached them using this on-click type attribute, which allows our page to become more functional. Okay? Again, you do not have to do buttons. You do not have to have the toast specific part pop up. You can make the button expand. You can see what other options the button has. If we click around, we look around right here. You can make them into icons. You can have them have specific loadings. You can change their size. You can make them wider, right? You can connect them to specific. Anyway, button is an option because it has both interactivity and text that gets displayed. How you display the text, whether that is loading a new page or making some paragraphs appear, what have you, is up to you. You can just use basic text as well. But if you wanted to practice with React Comps, this is the type of steps you'll need to complete. Okay? I talked for much longer than I planned. I apologize, y'all. This is due on Wednesday, so try not to stress out about it. We'll have more time on the block periods. The block periods are just straight up work time on assignments. On assignment 5 this week, they'll be able to help you with your specific questions. We have about 15 minutes left in class here. I'll talk about the exit task in 10, and then that will be our Monday. So, yeah, I'll be around. I'll be up here if you have specific questions. Jake will also be available if you need. If you want to talk to him as well. But yeah, React components.